Hey there, I'm Lisa Bishop of the Christian Working Woman, and it's time for another coaching moment to help you thrive in your career and in life. And today's video is part 2 of giving and receiving feedback. If you missed part 1, we talked about how to give feedback, and today I want to talk about how to receive feedback. Now, we mentioned in part 1 that this word feedback can conjure up a bunch of fear and insecurity. And I think, especially as we are in a position to receive feedback, we really need to know that feedback can be super beneficial for us and it's actually a gift. We all have blind spots. We all have things that we are doing or not doing, saying or not saying, that is having an impact that we probably want to know about. I actually have a personal example of asking for feedback. Several years ago, I sent an email to a couple of members of my team, some people that reported directly to me. And then I actually sent the same email to people that didn't report to me that were in different parts of the organization. And I asked them to consider 4 questions. And I told them, I said, hey, I want to grow in my leadership. I know that I have some blind spots, and I would love for you to give me some really honest feedback. It would be super helpful for me, and I trust your experience, and I trust you to help me see some of the blind spots that I have. So I sent the email, and the questions I asked were this. The first one was, how do you experience me? The second, what is something that I do well in my leadership? The third question was, what is something that I do in my leadership that I could improve upon? And then the fourth question was this. It was really interesting. What is something that you've always wanted to tell me or say to me, but you just never thought that you could? Well, let me tell you, I had great conversations with people. They were super honest, and I was really, really grateful for the feedback I received. And with one of the women that I received feedback, something that she said to me, now let me back up by saying I consider myself to be a really relational person. I love people. I love transformation. I love coming alongside people to mentor and to coach and to help them develop. I'm also a recovering perfectionist. So I also love results. Well, in the feedback I received from this person, let's just call her Jane, she said, I don't know if you know this, but it often seems like you are more interested in results than you are relationships. Oh my gosh. It was like, ugh, it hurt, but in a really, really good way. Unbeknownst to me, she wasn't feeling seen by me, and she was afraid to make mistakes. So, in my positive intent of doing things with excellence, I had a diminishing impact on some people that worked with me and for me. And if she would not have been honest to give me that feedback, I would never have known. And can you imagine that relationship going on for years and years to come, not knowing that there was feedback that was like gold of something that I could change that can make an impact, not only in our relationship, but within my leadership as well. So feedback is a gift. Sit with the feedback that people give you long enough to consider what about the feedback could be true. And when you're asking for feedback, first and foremost, declare your intent. Say, hey, I really value your input, and I would love you to be honest and give me some feedback on these particular areas. Now here we want to be specific in our request for feedback. So we want to say, hey, I've been working on this project. How could I get better? Or I'm really working to improve my leadership. What's something I can do to be more effective at leading? Then we want to make sure that we listen to understand, not just listen to respond. Listening is not meant to provide this gateway for you to explain yourself or defend yourself. You simply want to graciously listen and acknowledge the feedback. Say, thank you for the feedback. I really want to think about how I can apply it. And this is where your disposition is going to be super important too, because if you're, kind of like fuming or get defensive, people are going to be able to see that. So just try and get yourself in a mindset where feedback is data. This person is not out to harm me. They actually are here to help me. And then when you receive feedback, commit to action. I'll never forget a training that I was doing for a group of leaders, and we were talking about feedback. And on the break, one of the men came up to me and he said, "Hey, what do I do? I've been getting the same feedback for years. Like, why do I need to keep asking for feedback?" And I said, that's interesting. When people give you that feedback, what do you do with it? And he looked at me and he said, "Well, nothing." I thought, well, that's so fascinating. So here's the deal. If someone gives you feedback again, look at the feedback, ask the Lord, hey, what of this are you trying to point out for me to help me get better? And then actually commit to action. Make commitments to carefully keep your commitment at all cost as well. Use good judgment to determine what to do with the feedback that you are given. So remember, feedback is your friend. You cannot grow unless you get feedback. Literally, you cannot grow. I remember hearing this story about pilots and flying an airplane, and they are in contact with the radio station, like the radio tower, second by second. And if they are off just by 1 degree, if you're trying to, fly to Atlanta, you could end up in China. Now, maybe that's an exaggeration, but if the pilot isn't constantly getting that feedback, he's going to go off course. And if we're not asking for and receiving feedback, we can go off course as well. So remember that feedback is a gift, it's your friend, and be grateful for it. Well, if you're looking for a coach to help you grow personally and professionally, check out our Transformational Coaching, where we're going to help you move from where you are to where you want to be. You can visit christianworkingwoman.org to learn more and connect with a coach today.